Hey everybody, welcome back to another Resident Evil 9 video. As soon as I'm working on something else, Capcom decided to do a live event revealing a lot of new info for their different games, including Resident Evil 9 with a developer interview. So I'm going to be breaking down some of the info that we did get, and also throwing in my own personal opinions here and there. Now, throughout the entirety of this developer interview, there is a lot of new footage, and it does look like it's taking place in the hotel section, but also it does look like what they described from the Resident Evil 9 demo at Summer Games Fest. When it comes to the different environments, it does look like they're taking a lot of inspiration when it comes to this hotel section from the Spencer Mansion from Resident Evil 1 and also Resident Evil 7 location of the Baker's house, and I feel like they're kind of mixing together those two different types of aesthetics together and kind of fusing them here and there because they do look very open, very big, and almost kind of remind me a little bit of the original RPD from Resident Evil 2 Remake, where the map is somewhat layered and it does leave room to backtracking and also being a lot more vast in its nature, and that actually has me very excited, but I'm also extremely worried because it does also remind me a little bit of Lady D's castle, and that has me a bit worried. And like I said in one of my previous videos, I don't like the idea of them just guiding you through these levels. I want the room to explore, to get lost, and also get through this whole level at my own pace, being able to get from point A to point B and other various things. And I don't like the idea of being just given puzzle items and being guided through a straight path, and that has me worried. Like I said in one of my previous videos, that's something I really hated about Resident Evil 8, and I really hope that they don't do that, because a lot of people that were talking about the demo kind of made it seem like that's something that was a part of that, and I really hope that that's not the case. Another thing that was confirmed that I'm really excited about is that they did confirm that they're going back to that level of RE7-ness when it comes to focusing on survival horror and actually making the game super scary. Which, thank God, because that needed to happen anyway. But they also did confirm with the way they worded it that survival horror and that fear might actually play a benefactor into gameplay in some aspects as well. And that actually had me surprised, because that's something that actually would be interesting to play with gameplay-wise. But also they do show you the two different camera perspectives that you can mess around with first person and also third person. Which is actually a brilliant move, just like with RE8, because it does give people that have problems with one or the other camera option to switch to their preferred preference and basically stick with it. And I think that's perfectly fine. It's not a fresh camera perspective, but you do get to decide what camera style that you want to use, and I think that's a brilliant move in many ways. Also, through a little bit of gameplay, we do get a sense that there is going to be a stalker during this section, and I think that's pretty cool. Now, like I said, I really hope that they update the stalker AI to where it doesn't feel very generic and it actually has more of a threat to it. And there's more to it than them just chasing you. They need to keep the same level of fear when you first encounter it later on after you beat the game as well. With the higher difficulties, you can't run into the problem of it being a nuisance. You actually have to keep that same level of fear, and if they can pull that off, I think most of us will be impressed, because they do need to update and change the stalkers. And I will say, when it comes to this stalker, it does remind me a lot of Lisa Trevor. Getting into one of the more controversial updates and also confirmations, and that was they actually did consider Leon to be one of the protagonists of the game. They actually were going to plan to have them, but he didn't really fit the bill and he didn't really work. Now, I know a lot of RE fans are losing their shit and getting pissed off, and I do understand why. At first it kind of annoyed me, but then I really thought about it, and even with his campaign in RE6 that was supposed to be scary, yeah, it wasn't. But they didn't say that he wasn't confirmed to be in the game at all. They only confirmed that he wasn't going to be the main protagonist as they originally planned for obvious reasons, and I kinda understand why. Now, as for other smaller updates like the online RE stuff, yeah, that got canceled, I guess, supposedly. I'm glad. I don't care. And also, they did get into more details about Grace Ashcroft and how she really fits into the new Resident Evil mold, and also why they are returning to Raccoon City, and also why they chose the name Requiem to go with the last, or supposedly last, title in the franchise. And I actually thought the meaning of why they chose it was actually pretty interesting. But that's really it for this video. Make sure to like this video if you did enjoy, and dislike it if you didn't. It's perfectly fine. Comment your thoughts and opinions down in the comments, and also if you are new, make sure to hit the subscribe button and the bell notification button to be notified when I upload, whether it's Resident Evil content or any other content under the sun. Hope you have a fantastic day, morning, afternoon, night, or whatever it is for you in the world, and peace out. Bye bye.